It is pleasant evening to you viewers, and thank you for joining us on yet another exciting episode of Crime Watch, a program that is a creation of your police service, the Zimbabwe Republic Police, in its quest to conscientize you on crime issues, as well as enlisting your services in combating crime in our beloved nation. Elliot Kudzai Ganyani is my name, and I'm your host today. Like all times, it is a pleasure and indeed an honor to join you from wherever you are across this beautiful nation. We start this week's episode on a rather sad note after a Masvingo man was robbed of his motor vehicle and murdered in cold blood before the assailants fled towards Harare. The two assailants were however arrested by alert police officers who were manning a roadblock along the Masvingo-Harare highway.
Messages were forwarded on various WhatsApp groups on social media. An alert police officer in Beatrice came across the messages through the WhatsApp platform. He used the message to his advantage. He saw a vehicle which was coming with a similar registration number to the vehicle that was on the WhatsApp platform. He waved it for a lift, and eventually the accused person was apprehended. Then on checking our records, we found that the vehicle which was being held by Beatrice was the same vehicle that had gone missing here, but unfortunately it was now being driven by a stranger, which prompted us to look for the driver. Finally, we managed to locate the now deceased. He was still breathing, but heavily breathing, was not talking. All his eyes were closed. He had wounds on both sides of the cheeks and bruises behind the neck. Unfortunately, he passed on upon admission. Then we went to Beatrice to collect the accused person, and finally it came to light that he was the person who was responsible for the assault of the now deceased Josiah Remai and the eventual taking over of the vehicle to Beatrice where it was recovered.
Crime Watch also managed to talk to one of the taxi drivers in Masvingo who knew the deceased.
moenda wakana muri vaviri mosvika papolisi munhu wosiya madetails ake papolisi plus usanyanya kuda mari chakanyanya kukosha kurarama kwako iwewe.
Meanwhile, police in Ruwange in Nyanga district recently recovered 25 by 90 kgs of dacha, which was being transported in a Nissan Caravan public service vehicle following a tip-off from members of the public.
We received information to the effect that there was a vehicle which was loading dacha at Kaitano area, which borders with Mozambique, to the eastern side of our policing area. I quickly organized a 6-member team. When the guys arrived in the area, they intercepted a Nissan Caravan vehicle, which was a public service vehicle, which they tried to stop, but did not stop. They then gave a chase, and the dacha traffickers quickly started to drop bags of dacha along the way in a bid to block and delay the police team which was following them. They finally stopped their vehicle at the middle of the road and disappeared. The police team searched the vehicle and recovered 25 by 90 kgs bags of dacha. Constable Dombo Juku was called by the accused person, who was now offering a bribe money of US $1,000 to facilitate the release of the vehicle. The accused person came with the bribe money, and our trip was successful. We arrested the accused person. We recovered the bribe money, which was $670 US and 1,350 rands. The accused appeared at Nyanga District Court, where he was remanded in custody facing the 2 counts.
ZRP Nyanga district has since put in place measures to curb cross-border crimes.
The district has put in place some strategies to fight smuggling of mbanje and the goods from and into Mozambique. One of the strategies is establishment of bases. We also do early morning roadblocks and night roadblocks, where our details make thorough searches looking for dangerous drugs and also smuggled goods, which we later on recover and send to court for proper court rulings. So we urge all members of the society to desist from that behavior and be law-abiding Zimbabweans.
Still on drugs, police in Bulawayo has also busted a syndicate of drug dealers at a house in Bulawayo.
Following the problem of whose parties, where a number of school-going children were arrested for abusing drugs and alcohol, our province managed to carry out some investigations as to the source of such drugs. The investigations led us to one suspect who was residing at Igosham Court, where a raid was organized. We went to the court and arrested 3 suspects. At the scene, we recovered 120 bottles of codeine cough syrup, 10.4 kgs of banje, 5 small sachets of methane, hard currencies. Drugs have got long-term effects on children and juveniles, especially the youth, because when one abuses drugs, in the long run they will have health problems. Also, this can lead to one to commit various crimes, like violent crimes that we witness at times in our CBD. They are caused by abuse of such drugs. We encourage members of the public to continue supplying us with information. As police, we are going to act upon every information that comes to our fingertips.
Meanwhile, Wedza police has intercepted a car which was carrying 6 carcasses of slaughtered cattle, which were destined for resale in Harare, and this led to the arrest of 5 suspects. We spoke to the arresting police officers at Wedza Center.
Recently, we were on patrol along Harare Wedza Road in the company of my colleagues. As we were patrolling, we came across a pickup vehicle which was parked just outside the road. As we approached, the driver of the vehicle tried to speed off, but we managed to stop him. Upon searching, we discovered that the vehicle was loaded with 6 carcasses of slaughtered beasts. And we realized that they had no clearance forms and carcass permit. And we eventually arrested them. The case is still under investigations.
After further investigations, it was noted that the suspects had bought the cattle which had died of a disease and slaughtered them for resale.
Stock theft is one of our common crimes at Wedza Police, and as a result, we have intensified our crime awareness campaigns and patrols during the nights. I would like to urge members of the public to buy meat from reputable butcheries and meat dealers. We urge those who would like to transport meat from one point to the other to have relevant papers with them.
Vandalism of public utilities and infrastructure, mainly as a result of theft, is a worrying trend not only to the police, but also to the concerned parastatals. Just recently, the police nabbed a 5-member gang in connection with theft of ZESA transformers in Sadza area in Chivu. The 5, Lloyd Gwati and Kosnat Moyo, both of Hatfield, Petros Manjengwa and Pashao Makamero, both of Epworth, and Nathan Chiremba of Glenview, Harare, were arrested after stealing transformers at Chikwejero Primary School and Mutekeza Business Center in Sadza. all the loot which they had hidden in a nearby mountain waiting for transportation to Harare was recovered.
On the morning in question, I was on my way to Marondera when I received a report in the morning to the effect that a transformer had been stolen from Chikwezero Primary School. Now, as we were driving past the Rwenje Bridge, I spotted a white Toyota Wish which was being cleaned by 4 people who I did not recognize. I then suspected that these were the very people who had stolen the transformers. I then phoned Assistant Inspector Howe, the in-charge operations at ZRP SADSA, so that he could react to the information.
Takabva tamhanya pabridge pai tichisvika vatatanga kusecha mota, takaona mota yave neoil nemakopa cables. Vana vavo vakabvuma kutiudza kuti vanga vaba matransformers, vakaenda nesu vakanotaridza paarea vanga vamahwandisa. Takasvika tikamatora vakazoenda vakanotaridza kuti vanga vaba pamutekedza business center nepaChikwezero primary. Mushure momata vabata vakomana ava takazodedza matikitivha ekuchifu kuti vazovaferefete vaona kuti vakomana ava havana here dzimwe nyaya dzokumashure sezvo area yedu haisiro yega inge ichibiwa matransformer.
Theft and vandalism affects businesses and smooth operation of other key services.
Tata kuti tadambudziko kuti unonzwa kuchipatara kuna mishonga nenyaya kuti magetsi kune kusina. Mabhucha edu muno masadza anga asashandi nenyaya kuti kwakusina magetsi.
What we need most is magetsi. Saka kubiwa ikoko kunokonzerwa nematsotsi hakuna kumira zvakanaka kunokonzeresa loss kwatiri.
Vanhu vafanira kunyanya kutibatsira judiciary because zvinoitika ndechekuti mbavha idzi dzimwe dzine mari dzine legal practitioner lawyers, saka azosvika uku anoswana bail dzinongotiza vanongoramba zvingoita problem kana ngoti anongozopuwa nguva duku odzoka kwatiri futi. Saka dai judiciary yanyanya kutibatsira maererano nemacriminals zvinhu zvedu zvinoita zvakanaka.
Now joining us in the studio is the spokesperson for ZESA Holdings, Mr. Fulat Wasira, to discuss on the effects of vandalism of public utilities and infrastructure. I must say a warm welcome to you, sir, and thank you for coming through.
Thank you for having me.
Now, looking at this disturbing trend, sir, what would you say are the effects of vandalism of public utilities and infrastructure to the country?
Well, there's a very huge cost to the economy. If I may give you figures, just last year we lost about $4 million through theft and vandalism. And so far up to the end of March, we've lost about almost $2 million as a result of theft and vandalism. So the net effect is that we are constantly having to replace equipment that we have already put in place. So it retards network growth. I'm sure you know with our vision is to have 80% of the country having been electrified by 2030. And we keep going around in circles as vandals are targeting equipment. This year we're looking for about 4,000 transformers which have been vandalized, which needs to be replaced. And this is being replaced at a cost of about $15 million. This is money that ZESA does not really readily have. Downstream we've got issues with farming. For instance, if it's vandalized and people are growing crops, they may fail to irrigate, leading to loss of production. It also happens in business. So the domino effect of vandalism runs into millions and millions of dollars to the economy.
I understand you are obviously working together with other stakeholders. We have TEL1, we have the National Railways of Zimbabwe, and obviously the Zimbabwe Republic Police. What are the measures that you have maybe tried to put across so that you can use them as precautionary measures to curb against this scourge?
Well, we have put a lot in terms of measures to curb vandalism. We've got our own loss control department that does patrols in conjunction with other law enforcement agents, such as the ZRP and other utilities like TEL1, NEL1, and even NRS8, as you've alluded to. We've also got issues to do with technology in terms of protecting this. Quite recently, we've introduced drones, drone technology, so that we can police our network. We've also strengthened our transformers in terms of drain plug technology. We've put in special tools, special nuts, and we've made them largely undrainable. But I'm also saying we are also developing in this stage, we are also looking at dry transformers that do not use transformer oil as a measure so that to discourage the theft of this equipment.
All right. In as far as successes are concerned towards the precautionary measures that you've put across, would you say you have had some successes in terms of reducing theft and vandalism?
Well, we've recorded successes to a case like you've alluded to a transformer that was stolen and recovered. But we've recorded successes generally, especially in copper cables, where we work with communities in terms of whistleblowing, and so that people, if they see what's happening, they know what's happening, they can report to ZESA. We've also had successes in terms of the legal end. We have engaged the judiciary, and we're now getting punitive sentences, mandatory 10 years jail sentences for people who've been apprehended. So yes, we've recorded successes. But more still needs to be done in terms of making sure that this doesn't happen.
There are cases I've heard on the news, and certain times when I move around, people say they sometimes they see people just getting on those poles or the electricity poles, and they don't know whether this person is actually employed by ZESA or not. How best can they be able to discern and differentiate these people to say this one is really an employee of ZESA or Tel One? In this case, ZESA in particular.
Well, ZESA employees move around with IDs, but if you're not satisfied, we've got vehicles, and if these vehicles have got what we call fleet numbers, you can take down the fleet number, you can take down the registration number, and you can verify with ZESA. You can ask them for proof of identification, and if that doesn't come through, you should actually report to the police or to the nearest ZESA depot so that we can address. Uniforms alone are not enough. Sometimes even IDs alone are not enough. You can actually see with what's happening to say this is actually not legal with the amount of harvesting that will be happening. When ZESA puts in place equipment, it's there for good. It's there for the communities. It's there for you. We don't come to take it unless it's being replaced or it's being attended to in terms of maintenance. So we get cases whereby sophisticated syndicates are using branded vehicles, uniforms, but this can also be made. So it's really a community effort to ensure that our infrastructure is safeguarded.
What can you say to the viewers as parting words?
The electricity infrastructure belongs to you, does not belong to ZESA. Let's look after it, let's protect it. It will allow you to do production activities, to participate in the mainstream economy. And if you suspect anything, please report to the police. We want to make sure that our country develops. We want to get out of the rut that we are in. We want to grow our own wheat. We want to mine our own minerals. We want to be able to put Zimbabwe on the map in terms of economic development.
Mr. Fuller Gwasira, I must thank you very much for coming through. It has been a pleasure having you in the studio.
Thank you for having me.
There you have it, viewers. That was Mr. Fuller Gwasira, the spokesperson for ZESA Holdings, who was discussing with us the effects of vandalism of public utilities and infrastructure. And you got it correctly. We all have a role to play to bring this disturbing scourge to an end. On that note, we take a short break. Join us in the next segment. We are in the third and final segment of Crime Watch, and thank you for staying with us. It has been noted with great concern that some people are disobeying and contravening road rules and regulations, and more so endangering their lives, among other acts, by hanging on top or at the back of moving vehicles. The Traffic Safety Council of Zimbabwe spoke on these suicidal tendencies.
The Traffic Safety Council of Zimbabwe is worried about the increase in the number of people who are hanging precariously from moving vehicles. We have noticed that the practice is so rampant on our roads. Right now we are on the Chiremba Road to Epworth, and we have noticed that a lot of cars that we have seen are ferrying such people. Section 58 of the Road Traffic Act makes it an offense to hang or hold on to a vehicle that is in motion. The danger lies in that if the vehicle stops suddenly and without any warning, the vehicle behind can collide with that vehicle and it will lead to loss of life or limb. We are appealing to transporters and drivers to ensure that their vehicles do not carry such people at the back of the vehicles. We are also appealing to members of the public to send us messages on WhatsApp indicating the registration numbers of those vehicles. As Traffic Safety Council and ZRP Public Relations Office, we would like to engage the transporters and the drivers and educate them on the dangers of ferrying people at the rear of the vehicle.
Of late, we have recorded reports where some people have been run over by vehicles, some have been injured, some have lost their lives. So we are really urging motorists to comply with the provision of the Road Traffic Act and the Road Motor Transportation Act so that we safeguard lives on the road. The Zimbabwe Republic Police has got an ongoing operation which is targeting touts, where since the beginning of the year we've arrested over 21,000 touts who have appeared in court. Some have deposited fines, and this operation will continue until there is sanity on the roads. So we want to encourage members of the public to report anyone who moves around while it's clinging on the door of vehicles or on the back of vehicles, as this endangers life. We are also encouraging the farmers not to cling onto the back of trucks after they have loaded tobacco bales, because we've had some of the farmers getting injured whilst the vehicles are traveling from one point to another. Let's consider the safety of all the farmers first before they start embarking on journeys.
Meanwhile, the ZRP condemns acts by some unruly members of the public who disregard lawful orders by police officers during the course of their duties.
The Zimbabwe Republic Police condemns in the strongest terms some acts by unruly members of the public who are attacking, assaulting, and even killing police officers after they are found committing certain criminal acts. Only last week we had an incident in Midusabi where Constable Kadea was fatally assaulted. He was stabbed to death by a suspect who had been arrested after committing an offense, and the suspect was resisting arrest. We also had a similar incident in Mubaira Mondoro, where again a police officer who had arrested a suspect was attacked whilst proceeding to the station with the suspect. So as the Zimbabwe Republic Police, we want to appeal to members of the public that whenever something happens, whenever an incident happens, members of the public should allow the due process of the law to take course, and also to cooperate when police officers come and indicate that you are required to be taken to the local police station so that the necessary documentation, the necessary paperwork can be undertaken for one to appear in court.
As the police, we warn all those bent on such heinous behaviors or any acts that seek to defeat the cause of justice that the full wrath of the law will without hesitation be applied on them. May the soul of Constable Kadea rest in eternal peace. The 27th session of the Junior Parliament, which ran concurrently with the Day of the African Child celebrations, was held at Harare City Sports Center last week. The ZRP Junior Corps, whose pupils were drawn from ZRP Tomlinson Primary School, provided the guard of honor and were a marvel to watch as they exhibited some excellent foot and arms drill. It has been a great time having you along, and yes, do remember that he who does not report a crime is in a way supporting criminality. From myself, Elliot Kudzai Ganyani, and the crew behind the scenes, yes, do remember to preach the gospel of love. As they always say, love conquers all. Until we meet again next time, do take care.